Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Haley. I am the founder and CEO of Girls Love Travel. Welcome here to our Facebook Live. I'm checking in. I'm going to check over here on Facebook and make sure that we are getting set up and going. Pretty wild, this StreamYard thing. It's so crazy how we get to do this. Today is International Women's Day. Whoop, whoop. So celebrating women, we are sponsored tonight by AIG and AIG Travel. And we are very excited to be able to have a Facebook Live here with Valerie J. Wilson, trusted travel girl. We're going to be asking her all sorts of questions. Okay, yay, we are checking in. I just wanted to make sure that we were good to go. Now, welcome. So thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on Valerie. Hello.
Whoa. Hi, everyone.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Valerie, for joining today. So Valerie is also known as Trusted Travel Girl, TTG. You know, we're over here with GLT. Now, Valerie, for those of you guys that don't know, Valerie has been with Girls of Travel like forever and a day. She has been back here. So GLT was founded at the end of 2015, and you know, she likes to remind me that she was one of the first 10 people that was in GLT. So we love you for that. So Valerie, you've seen us through so many things here with Girls of Travel, and we've watched you grow as well as a solo traveler and as a travel blogger. And so for you, you know, there's so much that's been going on in this past year, and really want to dive just straight down into it so we can get as much out of this time together. You have Trusted Travel Girl, and you are a traveler, a travel blogger. But this last year, because of the pandemic, we really haven't been traveling, not that much. But I want to just start and just dive right into it. The fact that you were one of the first people I know that got COVID around this time last year. So what's this year been like for you?
Well, first of all, I didn't even get it traveling or doing anything fun. So that was kind of, that was like a huge misconception at the beginning. But right around this time last year, I was sick with COVID, and it's been a, you know, like everyone else, it's been a rough ride for so many industries, like not even just travel, but it's been a rough ride for the travel industry. Everybody's been using that P word, pivot. And I was like, I will not pivot. I love travel. So it's just been really educating my audience on, of course, after, you know, we got through the first few months of quarantine, it was getting back to travel and how to do so safely and how to educate my audience. A lot of them were trying to still get home, see family members, and we're just like grateful to have information on what it was like to be on a plane or to be anywhere really. So that's what this year's been like. It's just been, you know, we've all been rolling with the punches as they've been coming at us. And that's been everyone's like personal and work life and everything. So travel's been no different.
So you've been traveling for so long, even longer than I've known you, and many of your experiences have been solo travel. So with this being International Women's Day, women empowerment and supporting women with the desire that wants to travel in the future, what are some of the best tips that you would say with making sure that we're traveling safe and being protected whenever we're thinking about travel?
Yeah. So if we're taking the pandemic out of the equation and we're
this is all BC. This is all before COVID.
just making sure. So there's always some great things that you can do to arm yourself to stay safe. Obviously, have travel insurance. I've been using Travel Guard for like over 10 years or something crazy like that. So that's number one. You want to make sure that it doesn't matter where you are, you've got like a backup plan. Then number two is you want to make sure that you have a story. So if somebody comes up to you and asks too many questions, I'm not like a really good liar, so I need like a little preparation for something like that. So I always say somebody is waiting for me, you know, your boyfriend or something. And it's also, it gives you a good out to a conversation. Like somebody's waiting for me, they texted me, I gotta go. So that's like number one. Number two is walk with confidence everywhere that you go. Like if you just exude confidence, you can walk with confidence in the wrong direction until you go figure out where you are and get your bearings. And I think that that's just so important that you exude confidence, that you pay attention wherever you are. You don't have like your headphones in and all of that stuff. 2, like 3, whatever number we're on, have an offline map. I love, if we're talking apps, I love maps.me because you can download the map before you ever leave for your destination. So if you're going to another country, maybe you don't have Wi-Fi there, or you didn't get a SIM card, or something happens, it's not working, you have the map pre-downloaded onto your phone. So that's really great. It's really helpful to like for directions. It gives you driving directions, gives you walking directions. You just want to have a sense of where you are. So I'd say like those are quick and dirty three tips.
I love those. A nice, quick, and dirty 3 is always really good. So whenever it comes to all the travels that you've done, for me personally, I am a big proponent for travel insurance. It's one of the reasons why I was excited about partnering with AIG for this. So AIG Travel. But for you, you have actually used travel insurance in a big way, and it came up a lot in Girls Love Travel. So I don't want to step on your own story, but it really is a combination between AIG and GLT. So can you share a little bit about that? Because I don't know if everybody remembers this story.
Yeah, so that's what's really interesting about us all like hopping on here, because it was did you just lose me? It just timed out.
No, you paused for just a second, but we're good. We're back.
Yeah. It's like the three musketeers over here. We're all part of the story. So I was supposed to be on a dream ski trip in Switzerland. I love to ski. I had heli skiing set up where you like.
How long ago was this again? When was this?
It was the beginning of 2018. This was January of 2018.
I can't believe it.
I know. And
okay.
I had like heli skiing set up, which is like where you jump out of a helicopter and like you're skiing all the fresh, like dream trip. I flew to Switzerland. I landed. I went to dinner. I went to bed. I was like, great, I'm on the time zone. I did well with jet lag. This trip's going to be great. I went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night and I had pain in my lower just my stomach. Anyways.
Yeah.
And I was like, I pushed and I was like, that's where my appendix is. And I couldn't get out of bed. I like had to, I called downstairs and then I like had to like crawl to the door to open it for the emergency like EMTs to come in. They brought me straight to the hospital and they were like, yeah, you have to have your appendix out. So before any of that,
you were by yourself.
Totally alone. And I had just gotten there and I had just unpacked all my stuff. And so I get there and I go to the hospital and they gave me morphine. And the first call I made was to my mom. And the second call I made was to Travel Guard. And I didn't even worry. I knew I was covered. I knew I had a great medical plan. And then one of the next things I did was got on Girls Love Travel. And I was like sobbing. I was like, I'm all alone. I'm alone in Lucerne, Switzerland. I need help. Like I just like don't want to be by myself. I have to have surgery. I'm scared. And next thing I knew, GLT like blew up. And you know, I'll let you take the rest of the story from here.
I just remember that, I mean, in situations of crises and situations of needing support, then our girls are there. Like the GLTers just jump. And so it's one of those things that, and just very appreciative of how quick acting that the community can be in times of need. And it was within such a short amount of time that you had multiple people at your bedside that were helping out. And they weren't just at your bedside. They were like translating for you, helping out with your medical needs, like not medical needs, but like translating so that you would understand what people were saying, right? It was like they did medicine for you.
Yeah. So by the time it had like reached people in Lucerne, I was already like going under for surgery. And then I had come out and a couple girls were like, yeah, I live right near the area. Like I'll come by. And 2 girls came and they brought me like goodies to like make me feel better, which I like couldn't stomach anything. But they also showed up right when I was trying to leave the hospital. So they helped me get from the hospital back to my hotel and like in the taxi and everything. And they helped me like get up to my room, and I couldn't carry any of my belongings because I wasn't allowed to lift anything. They like carried stuff. one of the girls went down and found a pharmacy and got all of the like medications I was supposed to be taking and brought them back. And I didn't have Swiss francs or anything. I hadn't gone to the ATM yet. So I paid her back like a couple of days later when I could finally walk and go to the bank and stuff. But it was like the nicest. I think that's the thing with travel, and like it's so great to have a global community and everything, but like that's the thing with travel and being a solo female traveler. You do have to be on guard, but most people are good and most people want to help you, and like that was just, it just shined right through. And honestly, it like, even though I didn't get to go do the things I wanted to go do on that trip, it served like another purpose in my life.
Have you been able to go back since and recreate that trip?
No, it's not happened yet. Yeah, it's just been
something that you want to do, or are you a little bit nervous about it?
Oh no, 110%. We've been trying to make it happen. It's just my schedule hasn't allowed, unfortunately. But yeah, and actually one of the girls messaged me or commented on something like really recently, and I was like, that's my girl that took care of me.
Still connected after all these years. I love it. Yeah, because it's one of those things that and it's one of those things that you thankfully already had travel insurance before this happened, but it's one that I think a lot of people are on that little wavering thought process of like, do I really need this, or like, do I need it before I go? And especially as a solo traveler, then it's so pronounced on and like needing to have that as an extra protectant for yourself. And I think now, as a result of all these, so we did take away from not talking about pandemic stuff, but now let's talk about travel with the pandemic, because you have traveled a little bit. So what are your thoughts with not just having travel insurance, but traveling now? Like, because people are slowly starting to creep back into getting into travel. What have you done? How have you done this to stay safe and to get your wanderlust going again? I mean, we're all like thinking about it, but not everybody's out there doing it yet.
Yeah. So just because I'm out there telling you how to travel and I'm traveling doesn't mean that I'm telling you you should travel. You should travel when you feel comfortable.
Totally.
And I just can't
GLT, because we actually have been like not having people post about a lot of their travels, but the actuality is that people are traveling. And so it's naive to think that people aren't. And so it's good to have an open dialogue of how to be safe if you are.
100%. And the other thing I want to say before I say anything else about where I've been or what I've been doing is you can be a safe traveler. You can do all the right things. You can be a good member of society, and you can be a terrible part of the problem at home. So I just challenge you to think about your actions, not only when you're traveling, but what you're doing at home before you pass judgment. But that being said, I just recently went back to Jordan. I just recently went to Jordan for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It was amazing because I went to Petra and it was empty. I was like I was literally the only person there for several hours. It was a dream trip. I had an amazing time. My driver, first of all, I was tested before I left, which was required 72 hours before arrival. Then before you got there, you had to pay to have a test. Like they gave you a QR code that you scanned when you arrived. So you had another test on arrival. That test came back, PCR test came back in 5 hours. It was so quick. So then after that, then you're like free to go. And my driver, I had required that my driver also have a test like 24 hours before I arrived. And my driver had not worked since last March. So he was like really excited everybody was just really excited to have tourists. Everybody thought I lived in Amman because everywhere I went, they'd say, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'd say, "Oh, I live in the States." And they'd say, "But you live here, right?" Like they couldn't believe that a traveler was back.
You went. How long ago did you go?
I think I left February 10th or 11th.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. So, it was my birthday coming up. I've been alone for a long time. I hadn't seen a friend since November. Like I've been really taking everything seriously. And I was like, you know what? It's time for the big trip.
Have you felt any like anxiety or change in the way that you're traveling? Have you not just a different mindfulness, but what are some of your emotions that you've had to work through with going through your travels?
I think the biggest emotional thing for me traveling during this time has been I've taken it really seriously since like before it even came to our borders. I was like, this is going to be not good, guys. And my friends were like, you're crazy. And so this whole time I've been very, very methodical and careful with everything. And like my family hasn't left like their house because they like need to wait until they're vaccinated. So I think the hardest thing for me is when I see people that are careless about things. It's very emotional for me, especially someone that got sick so early on that the doctors didn't know like anything about it. They told me like, don't come to like, I was having trouble breathing and I was like, how do I know like when I need to go to the hospital? They said, we don't want to see you until you're purple and you can't talk. Like that's what the hospital said.
Wow.
So it was traumatic. And so I think like seeing people that are all willy-nilly about it is a little emotional for me. So I'd say that's probably the most emotional like part of traveling. But also when I first got back on a plane, when I finally could like fly home and like connect with my family after being sick and all of that, I didn't look at my phone. I didn't watch the TV. I didn't want to do anything. I just looked out the window. I had my mask on, but I had a big smile on my face under it. And I was just staring out the window the whole time. I was so happy to be back on a plane. It felt like going home. So, there's lots of emotions to share.
You did Jordan, and you've been able to come back and take a COVID test. You've been negative. You've been as safe as you can be possible. What's next for you on the horizon? Do you have some 2021 plans? I know that you've been planning out with Trusted Travel Girl. You've been planning out some trips. So is that starting in 2021? What's it like as a trip curator now?
So we started planning for 2021 in 2020 for TTG trips, and we're doing Peru. We have an incredible trip to Cambodia, and then we launched Turkey for 2022, and we have Jordan coming up. But it's been crazy because Peru is like right now, I just found out today, like it's a maybe because that trip is supposed to go in June. So we might have to push the date. So everything is, as everybody's year has been, the last 12 months, everything's been touch and go. So being a trip planner, it's been a little challenging because we planned for Peru in June of this year, last August, thinking, of course, June.
Yeah. Now, what are you doing as a trip curator now, as not just a solo traveler, not just a travel blogger, but now you are taking on the responsibility of others. So what are you doing in that regard to make sure that the people that you're bringing on are safe? Like that's a big thing.
All the people that want to travel with me are coming with me because they are similar to me. They feel similar, right? Like they engage with me and like my personality. So they're probably pretty spot on as far as like taking it seriously and all of that goes. I know most of them have been saying they're getting vaccinated. I've encouraged everybody to get vaccinated. Don't at me. And I've encouraged like masks and testing, and we're doing everything on the ground that we can do when we get there. Hopefully by the time the first trip launches, we'll be in a different situation globally. So we'll see about that. But as far as being a solo traveler, I'm doing, I've been to multiple hotels. I've like gone over and over with like several different properties and tourism boards about like what they're doing to keep us safe and like what the cleaning process is like. And
you were one of the first ones that I saw reporting on, I think it's Hilton hotels, and showcasing the individual wipes and the masks and things like that they were providing within their hotel rooms.
And so that video did like 40,000 in like less than 24 hours at 40,000 views, because as far as I know, it was the first time somebody was showing a hotel and like what the cleaning process was like. And I was nervous because I was going back into the heart of it. I was going to New York City. But truly it was like the safest place it could have been. They were taking it so seriously. But that was like information people wanted to know, because there was people that wanted to even do a road trip to get home to see their loved ones and needed, to stop and stay in a hotel, and we're afraid of what that was like. So obviously now we know, fortunately, we know so much more about everything that's going on, that we're able to better protect ourselves and feel a little bit more comfortable going out, knowing that everybody, is masked in certain places, and you can feel comfortable going there and staying in a hotel and knowing all the protocols and all of that.
Okay, so now with everything that you've been doing and your career has been evolving through the many years that I've known you at this point. So love that I've known you for this long. So I know I've seen your website go on the rise. I've seen you do a lot of stuff with Instagram. You're starting to do more with the TTG trips.
Seeing you grow like crazy, girl.
It's been a wild ride. So with the onslaught of the new social platforms that people are utilizing with Clubhouse and with TikTok, and now they've got like Twitter Spaces and they've got Instagram rooms and things, and then we're still here doing this Facebook Live on Facebook. What are you finding as a continuation of somebody that's getting paid to travel and work as a travel blogger and working in this travel field? What social platforms are you starting to use more of, and where do you think that people that are tuning in would be able to find you?
Okay, so you can find me on pretty much every social media platform. On Instagram, it's Trusted Travel Girl. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I've got a big following there. I'm on Facebook.
What are you doing over on TikTok? Can I see you dance? Is that what you're doing on TikTok?
Girl, no. No, I'm like giving you travel tips and stuff.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing you like doing
with like the nice music. Destination. I know, I keep freezing. I see it. And then some tips and things like that. I just did one, totally not sponsored, but it looks sponsored because I'm such a big fan. I just did one of like, there's an app for jet lag called Time Shifter. And so I showed that on TikTok. But mainly, information. So like now we're in the age of information. It's gone from this whole thing of like aspirational and inspirational to now like inform me, teach me, engage, enlighten, and educate me. So that's been the fun thing with Clubhouse and with TikTok, is that's what's really taken the lead, is like providing value for everyone. Facebook too, everything's kind of shifting to providing value. So as somebody that strives to provide value to solo travelers every day, that's been fun for me. So
okay, so I've known you now for 5 years, and we never would have thought 5 years ago that we'd be sitting here the way that we're sitting today. So if you were to take into that faction, and obviously we have no idea that anything like with the pandemic or your appendix or any of that kind of stuff that's caused lots of craziness in our lives, and specifically some of the things you've experienced, what do you think is next for you? What do you think is coming up? I know I didn't plan you for that one. I wanted to stump you on one. What do you think? Like, what if you were to, because over on Clubhouse on Mondays, we actually do a manifesting Monday kind of talking. So if you were to manifest out into the universe, like what does Valerie of Trusted Travel Girl want to manifest for yourself out into the universe?
This whole thing started with a show. So I'm in the middle of pitching a travel show right now.
I love it.
It started before, it's like pretty much we're picking up where we left off this time last year. Yeah, I want a travel show. Everybody that like wants to travel with me and come on my trips and all of those things, it's like, I want to take everybody with me on like all of the best experiences, because I think I have a unique perspective on the world and the cultures that I get to melt into. And I want to share that with everyone. And I want to empower other women to get out there and travel solo and be safe and be smart, but like go have a great time. So
would you say that's sort of your mission statement? Is that like your personal mission?
Yeah. I have like a real mission statement somewhere.
What is Trusted Travel Girl's mission?
It's all about helping, we're not just for women, right? But that's our main focus, is helping solo female travelers, but helping people get off the beaten path too. So that's where like the guys tune in, because like I'm always like trying to find the places that nobody knows about. And you can find those hidden local gems in major cities across the world, or, you know, you can go way off the beaten path. But I think it's like so important when it comes to, we're talking about, you know, you bring in like sustainable travel and all of those things. It's important to not overrun things and like go find other places and like hang with the locals. And that's what, like, what feeds me as a traveler is if I feel like I'm on the tourist path, I'm like, steam's coming out of my ears. I'm like, how do I get off of the tourist track? Like, how do I find the things and the stuff? So I'll leave you guys with a tip. I always, pre-COVID, of course, sit at the bar.
I was gonna be like, if you had one thing that you wanted us to like focus in on, what is that one thing?
Yeah. So if you want to get off the beaten path, and you're, especially if you're a solo traveler, because it's a lot easier, because it's easier to meet people when you're solo traveling, sit at the bar. Even if you don't drink, sit at the bar, ask the bartenders, ask the waiters, ask the people there, ask your servers, where do you hang out after? What do you do? Don't send me to the places that like the concierge would send me. Send me to like where you hang out, or like, what do you think about this? Or that's when you'll meet you'll be sitting at the bar having a drink, and you'll meet another traveler will walk in that knows like the other cool local, so, oh, we did this awesome thing. You've got to go do it. Nobody knows about it. So that's my secret, is like, just ask the locals, like ask the people that are at the bar.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Valerie, for joining us. Thank you so much to AIG Travel for putting this together on International Women's Day. Just wanting to support women traveling, exploring the world fearlessly, and supporting each other for safety and socializing and support, as we do with the Girls of Travel community and what you do every day with your Trusted Travel Girl community. So really appreciate that and love the alignment that we've been able to have for the last 5 years. And here's to 5 and many, many more after that. So.
Many more. Thanks for having me. Thank you to GLT for being such an amazing community. And thanks to Travel Guard for always keeping me safe. So thank you guys. And like, honestly, I'm looking forward to a better 2021 for travel.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will have this Facebook Live up for you, as well as over on our YouTube channel, and we really appreciate it. You can find Valerie with Trusted Travel Girl on any social platform that you like to partake on. Just look for Trusted Travel Girl and you'll see her there. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.